Hey, Mike.
I'm not Mike. I am Father Michael.
Oh, okay.
I'm
Hello, Father Michael.
the wizard today, uh, and it is in celebration of Bible trivia.
Oh, okay. I
Are
thought you
you
were
ready
just
for that, Heather?
I'm ready for Halloween, and I thought that's where you were going.
Father Michael can make an appearance at any time, much like the Virgin Mary.
Don't scare me.
You have nothing to fear, my child.
Oh goodness, I'm gonna run. Do you want to start off with the forum questions or the audience questions?
Let's just jump right into some Bible trivia. And
Okay.
because there is a bit of a delay, I think that we'll kind of alternate between trivia and taking questions and comments from the audience.
That's a great idea.
Welcome, audience. May the Lord bless you and keep you. And I hope you are all ready for some Bible trivia and remembered everything that you learned in church and from reading the Bible. So there are 15 questions. Number one is kind of an easy one. What was Jesus's first miracle?
So if you know the answer, put it in the chat. We're watching out for you. I'm going to say that his first miracle was the very first post he put up on social media. It instantly got 1 million likes. That's what his first miracle was.
Great guess.
I'm wrong?
No, wouldn't it be great if Jesus was posting on social media now? I think we could all use his advice.
Yeah, I think that would be very interesting.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Let's pray for that. But no, let's see if we have any good questions from the peanut gallery.
So it looks like...
Please keep your eye out on people getting, answering my question.
It looks like we have a couple answers. So did he turn water into wine?
Yes. Who gets credit for that?
Wayne Rogers.
Wayne Rogers. I see he beat Tom H to the punch by seconds. Wayne Rogers, good for you. Yes, at the wedding banquet, they ran out of wine, so Jesus turned water into wine, and it wasn't just any ordinary wine, but it was good wine.
We have to make that clear. There's a distinction between good wine and bad wine.
Yeah, the Bible mentions how usually people will start out with good wine, and then once people are a little bit drunk, then they bring out the cheap quality wine. But no, the water that Jesus made into wine, that was the best wine money can buy.
I thought money didn't buy it. I thought he created it.
That's a very good point. It was better than the best wine money can buy.
There you go.
Okay. Heather, please keep an eye. What is our first question?
So our first question for today is from Eric. And Eric says, what are the odds of being dealt 4 of a kind in video poker and also 4 aces without a kicker? Without a kicker.
So I take it he means on the deal.
Yeah.
So the probability, there are 624 ways to get a 4 of a kind on the deal. And that is out of 2,598,960. Wait, 524. Okay, I think it's 624. Well, there's 13 ways you can get the rank of the 4 of a kind, and there's 48 possible cards for the singleton. So that's 624 combinations for your 4 of a kind. So let's divide that by the total number of ways you can pick, or should I say choose 5 cards out of 52, which is 2,590,960. So we get 0.0002, or 1 in 4,165. And again, I emphasize that's on the deal, not the draw. And I think that's about, I'll just answer that one. Well, what was his other one? And something about a kicker. With and without a kicker. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, he said 4 aces, so we have to divide that by 13, because what I just said was the probability of any 4 of a kind. So for a 4 of a kind in aces, we divide that by 13, and we're at 1 in 320. And for a So if we are talking about 4 aces and a 2, 3, or 4 kicker, well, there are 12 ways to get that kicker. And no, yeah. So we divide that by 2,598,960. So now we are at 1 in 216,580. There you go.
Sounds good.
I have another Bible trivia question.
Woo.
Okay. Which 2 people in the Bible walked on water?
2? There's 2 of them?
Mm-hmm.
No way.
Yes.
Ha. Cool. So if you guys know, put it in the chat. We are watching, and while we are waiting for people to answer that, we have another question from Charles. Do you take the dogs on the money line in NFL? By the way, love everything you do, and best to you and your family.
Thank you very much, my son. Yes, I love betting underdogs on the money line in the NFL. However, I like to get at least a +7 underdog. That way, they truly are an underdog. And it's really important to shop around for a good price, because while point spreads vary very, 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 very little from casino to casino, there's a lot of fluctuation in the money line. So I go to Vegas Insider, and they list both the point spreads and the odds at all the internet sports books and Vegas casinos. So it used to be that every Thursday I would go out and I would have my whole list of all the NFL underdogs I was going to bet and where to bet them, where they had the good lines. And unfortunately, lots of times by the time I got to the casino, that line was no longer there. But yeah, I used to love doing that. At the time, I perceived mathematically a pretty good value at it. To be perfectly honest with you, I didn't achieve that value. I know I did this one year. I think it was 2005 or 2006, where just favorites were doing really well. So that was a bad year for me, and I lost my spirit, if you will pardon the pun. But yeah, I think that's a good way to bet underdogs in the NFL, in particular on the money line. And I'm not saying you're going to have an advantage, but I think it's going to be right around an even bet. Which, considering that if you bet on favorites, you're going to be bucking a house advantage of 4.5% or higher. Take fair odds wherever you can find it. So there you go.
Very cool.
Answer to the 2 people who walked on water.
We do. So Michael S. says Peter and Jesus. Is that correct?
That is correct. Good job, Michael S. A nice name, may I say.
Very cool.
Yes, we all know that Jesus did, but in the first story of the miraculous catch of fish, I guess Jesus was putting Peter's faith to the test, and I think he said something like, my son, if you have the faith of a mustard seed, you will be able to walk on water. And so Peter tried it, and he successfully walked on water for a few steps, and then he said something like, "Oh my goodness, I can't believe I'm doing it," and then he fell in. So it was when his doubt started to bubble up that he fell in the water.
That it all went crashing down.
He all went crashing to the Dead Sea, or no, probably the Sea of Galilee.
Okay. So what is our next?
Good job, Michael S.
Cool. What is our next question?
Okay.
Bible question.
Okay. Our next one is, speaking of miraculous catches of fish, in the second story, and by the way, as usual, there's no searching allowed. You will get 200 years in purgatory if you cheat. That said, in the second story of the miraculous catch of fish, how many fish did they catch?
Ooh. Okay, if you guys know, put it in the chat. And while we are waiting, our next question comes from Paul. And Paul says, can you talk about card counting and what it takes to do it full time?
I could talk about this all day long. In general, I don't recommend card counting as a viable advantage play. I think 90% of card counters that I know have gone on to other advantage plays because the casinos are much better at catching counters these days. The advantage was never that great to begin with, at about 1% if you do it well, and a lot of counters did not do it well. So, yeah, I don't recommend card counting, but if you feel that is your calling, then there's a number of books about it, but I would just get any book that covers the simple high-low. And so learn how to count down a deck in, I don't know, 30 seconds or so, and memorize what are called the illustrious 18, meaning the 18 most important, what are they called? Index values, where your decision will depend on what the count is, and give it a try. I think most people will find that once they start betting into green chips that they get kicked out right and left. But nevertheless, that is a short answer to a very long question.
Okay.
Okay.
And we got a couple answers. So is 8 the correct answer?
Nope.
No. Is 42 the correct answer?
No.
How about 20?
No.
0?
Nope.
And 2?
Nope.
That is all of the guesses we have.
That's okay, you guys. Good tries. The answer is 153. And I have yet to ask this question to anyone who got it right, including I asked a real priest. But the reason I find this extremely interesting is, number one, like in the story, and this is after the resurrection, is Jesus, the disciples were out there fishing with their nets and not catching anything. And Jesus appeared on the shore and he said, "Throw out your net on the right side of the boat." And they did, and they caught a whole bunch of fish. And then Jesus said, "Come ashore and let's eat them." And so they came ashore, and Jesus said, "Just give me a few of the fish, and we'll prepare them, to eat." And the Bible just out of nowhere says that they caught 153 fish, and not only that, but the nets never broke. And it's kind of weird, Jesus told them, "Let's eat." So why did they sit there and count the fish when he never asked them to count them? But what I find really fascinating is 153 is a special number. You have a 1, a 5, and a 3, and 153 equals 1 cubed plus 5 cubed plus 3 cubed. In other words, 1 plus 125 plus 27 equals 153. And I think that is the only number that works for. So I find that a little bit miraculous.
Very interesting.
That's just me, though.
So what is our next Bible question?
Our next Bible question is, the doctrine of the Immaculate Conception refers to the conception of whom?
Ooh. Okay, so if you guys know, put it in the chat, and
you Catholics out there, I expect you to know this one.
And while we are waiting, we'll do a question. So our next question comes from Sean. On a single bet promo chip, what is the best way or game that you can convert to real chips without gambling them? In other words, I'm okay with a guaranteed loss of -5% as long as I can convert 95% into real CPS.
Okay, so I take it he's referring to what I call a non-neg, or a use till you lose chip, non-neg meaning non-negotiable. And normally I would say you could, if you have multiple ones, you could bet them on both sides of a bet, like player and banker in Baccarat, but they won't let you do that. So I recommend using them in Blackjack. And because of the low house advantage in that game. If you don't want to use them in Blackjack, then I would use them on the banker bet in Baccarat. And So yeah, so the banker bet in Baccarat, the house advantage there is 1.06%. So on average, you're going to have to bet through each one about twice before you lose it. So that therefore, so we doubled that 1.06% house advantage. So that makes the expected value of these promo chips about 98 cents on the dollar, which is pretty good. So that is my advice there.
Very cool.
Okay, who knows about the Immaculate Conception?
We have a few guesses. Okay. So is Jesus the correct answer?
No, that is what most people say, but it's incorrect.
How about Mary?
Yes, good job, Paul Malott. The Immaculate Conception refers to the conception of Mary, and the reason she had to be immaculately conceived was she needed to be pure and without sin to give birth to Jesus. So somehow her conception was without sin. There you go.
Very cool.
Are you ready for another one, Heather and audience?
Yep, ready for another one.
Question number 5. And by the way, I am accepting confessions as well. So if there is something that is laying on your heart, something that somehow you have wronged another person, this is your opportunity to get that guilt off your chest.
Sounds good.
And I will take care of you. Okay, question number 5. What is the shortest verse in the Bible?
Okay, so if you know, put it in the chat. I'll watch out for it. And while we are waiting, we have another question for you. So our next question is, this is from Anne. And Anne says, I know it is against one of your commandments to bet side bets on a game, but are there any side bets that would get your approval other than taking full odds in craps or doubling up a win in VP?
Okay, good question, my child. Yes, I am big on the commandments, and as you correctly know, I have one of my 10 commandments of gambling is thou shalt not make side bets. So very appropriate question. So I wouldn't consider the odds and craps a side bet. I would consider that fundamental to the game. Doubling up in video poker, I don't really consider that a side bet either. So that said, I cannot think of a single side bet that I approve of. Now, some of them are not so bad, like the dragon bonus on the player side in Baccarat is only, I think, 2.3% house advantage. And, but no, I am sticking to my commandments, and thou shalt not make side bets. And I'm sorry, Anne, but no exceptions. And I know you guys love those side bets. But you will serve 1 day in purgatory for every time you make it.
Well, now that we are done answering Anne's question, thank you very much, Anne. We have a couple replies to your question, or to your, biblical question, which, by the way, Mother Cat says, are you the wizard or are you the Reverend Wizard?
I am Father Michael.
Oh, Father Michael. Okay. So our answers, first one comes from Tom H. Jesus wept. Is that correct?
That is correct. Well done, my son, Tom H.
Woo,
that is nice. 1 day out, a 1 day of get out of purgatory free for you and everyone who gets one right first. Good job. Just two words, Jesus wept. And he had a lot to weep about too.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's weeping today now.
Probably.
Okay, but I see other people got that too. Good job to everybody who got it.
So what's our next question?
Our next question is, who is the oldest living person in the Bible and how long did he live?
Oh, okay. So I'm guessing 40. Because back then...
Way more than that.
Really? Okay.
Live a long time back in the beginning.
Okay. So if you guys know the answer to that question, please put it in the chat and we will be looking out for it. And of course, while we're waiting, let's go to a question. So our next question comes from Sean again. I understand the myth that a bad player can ruin the table in blackjack, but why isn't that true when basic strategy is based on making the right play, assuming the?
Yes, the basic strategy is based, shall we say, the basic strategy is just the best play for every situation. And that is something that you should follow, but that is just for your hand. You know, somebody else's hand is their hand. That is their business. What, you know, and you may think that it may affect the card that you get, but they're just as likely to help you as hurt you. So mind your own business. Do not try to take the speck out of your brother's eye, and follow the basic strategy. And if somebody else is playing horribly, just if they ask you for advice, by all means give it to them, but don't force it on anybody. And worry about your own problems.
Cool. Very good advice. So our answers, the first one comes from Paul, and Paul says 85 years.
Way more than 85.
More. Okay. How about Methuselah for 969 years?
Very good. I can see that Tom H. said Methuselah for the person, and Michael S. also got that, but added the correct number. 969 years. So good job to both of you. I will split the credit.
You will? We were looking for the number.
Yeah, Michael S. gave it. He lived to Methuselah lived to 969 years.
I know Tom gets everything correct, but Tom didn't give us a number.
Right. So, but Tom got the name, so I'll give him half credit, and then Michael S. got the age, so he will get the other half of the credit.
Okay.
So good job to both of you. And I see that other people got half or full credit after that. So good job to everybody who got that one right. And yes, and that was a tough one, the 969. So very good job to the people who knew the age at which Methuselah died.
So what's our next question?
Our next Bible question is? Question number 7. Which 2 people in the Bible did not die?
Really? 2 of them didn't die?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yep, they went up into the sky, wherever we go after this life, without dying, because God found so much favor in them.
Okay, I'm going to make a guess.
Mm-hmm.
Was it Adam and Eve?
Nope.
Oh, okay. Well, there's my whole guess. They died. They totally died. No, they're gone. Okay, so let's go to a question while we're waiting for you guys to put that in the chat.
They especially died because because they disobeyed God. They were not supposed to eat the forbidden fruit, and so God was kind of disappointed with Adam and Eve, to be honest with you.
So the 2 people who didn't die, they did not piss off God then.
That's right.
Okay, good to know. That's a good tell.
There's other people who probably didn't make God angry either, but for some reason, only the 2 are mentioned in the Bible as just not dying. They got taken up in bodily form to the next place. Okay, let's have a gambling question.
Okay, so our next gambling question comes from Michael S. I play video poker online and I'm sitting at 49-4 to the Royals without a Royal. What are the odds?
He's sitting at 49. Well, let's figure that out, shall we? So the probability of not getting that Royal is 46 divided by 47, which is 97.87%. And he said 49 times, so let's take that to the 49th power. So the probability of not getting a Royal in 49 draws for to the Royal is 34.86%.
Good to know.
There you go.
Cool.
So,
okay, so let us see who got the answer to that biblical question. Was it Mary and Joseph?
nope.
Okay, so next one up is, I can't pronounce that. Enoch?
Enoch, and I might be mispronouncing it, but Enoch and Elijah. Good job, Wayne Rogers. And I see Michael S. mentioned Enoch, but Michael S., you have so much credit already that let's give this one all the way to Wayne Rogers. Good job, Wayne. Yes, Elijah and Enoch did not die. They went directly upstairs.
So they're technically humans upstairs.
That is a good question. Well, the book of Revelation mentions that upon Jesus's return, the faithful will be resurrected in bodily form. But what's going to happen to all the people who died before that? Are they going to be up there in bodily form? I frankly just don't know. The Bible is not exactly that clear on the topic.
Well, I know who is very clear on the topic, you, and we got another question for you.
Okay.
But what's our Bible question? What's our next Bible?
The next one is, what did John the Baptist like to eat?
John the Baptist. I'm going to guess licorice. Black licorice. Has to be black licorice.
Black licorice is disgusting.
It came from fennel seeds. Those are good.
Ugh.
By the way.
Oh, I despise black licorice. Red licorice is delicious.
Fennel seeds. So black licorice, I think, came from fennel seeds. And if you put
black licorice came from the pit of hell.
If you put fennel seeds on pizza, it tastes really good. That used to be one of my favorite things. Okay, so our next question is from Mark. So he has been doing really well lately, playing 8-6 100-hand jacks or better at Ellis Island. Any suggestions on what other casinos have good video poker?
I highly recommend the site vpfree2.com. That will tell you the best video poker at every casino in not just Las Vegas, but I think the whole country. And but in general, it's the locals casinos that are going to have the better video poker. 8-6 jacks is good, but it's not great. I know that Harrah's and Harvey's in Lake Tahoe have 9-6 jacks or better in 100 play. So you might find even better than that somewhere here in Vegas. But yeah, vpfree2.com. And I also really like this site because it's advertising free. It is a service. It is a good deed to the video poker players out there. So yes, I highly recommend checking that site out to answer your question. But off the top of my head, I just know about the Harrah's and Harvey's.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
So we got answers. The first one was from a math test. And were they spirits and souls?
I tend to think that he's referring to the previous question.
Oh,
and by the way, let me say that I tested these questions out on somebody this morning, and people who already have been tortured with this are not allowed to play.
Okay.
Okay. But as for Enoch and Elijah, who rose up without dying, the Bible just says that they rose up and they didn't die, and that's about all the information we have. And there are many mysteries out there, and this, the specifics of this one is just going to have to be one of them. So I happened to see that, no, it wasn't fish. Mr. Wayne Rogers is correct. Honey and wild locusts.
Yay. Yeah. Wayne's doing really good.
Yes, Wayne Rogers, you were paying attention in church or doing a good job reading your Bible. Bless you, my friend.
Watch out, Tom H. We got someone right up on your heels. It was Tom. We
have a Bible trivia face-off here.
Oh, you're right. It totally is a face-off.
Okay. And I see David Mikulski correctly. No, it's not fish. Someone mentions dates, a good guess, but no, incorrect. And this is just one of those, funny trivia things the Bible throws out, like the 153 fish. Like it says that John the Baptist, he wore a leather garment around his loins and something about a coat of camel's hair, and he ate locusts and wild honey. Now, why is that pertinent? Why do we need to know that now? How does that benefit anybody? But I just love this trivia, and I think it adds a lot of flair to the Bible, and I just love these esoteric little bits of information.
Well, I love doing the trivia with you. Always doing these trivia things with you, whether it's the flag or just, name that tune or whatever. I love all of these. They're so much fun.
Thank you, my child.
I'm your child? That's sort of like, okay.
I am a priest.
Can I have an allowance?
I have taken a vow of poverty, so I have no money to give you.
Okay, so what is our next Bible question?
Our next one is, what instrument did David play?
The accordion. No, that wasn't it?
No, they did not have accordions in biblical times, I'm afraid, but good, but a very entertaining guess.
Dude, they did not know parties then.
Yeah. Imagine at that wedding with the wine and an accordion. That would have been a good time.
That would have been awesome.
Not to mention 153 fish. That would have been the happening wedding.
Oh my God, that would have been. I never knew Jesus threw such stellar parties.
And by the way, God is all in favor of fun, but in moderation. Just to remind you, it's okay to have a good time. Just don't overdo it. And that goes for gambling as well. It's okay in moderation. Are you still there, Heather? You froze up on me. Okay,
so I'm back.
Okay. I think that it's been a while, so let's see. What are the first guesses as to the instrument that David played?
While we are waiting for that, you want to answer a question?
Sure.
Okay, so our next question comes from Mo the Cat.
Mm-hmm.
In Blackjack, with a constant shuffle machine, is there any advantage to being in the last seat, since you get to see some of the cards that are out? P.S. How is your bird?
Oh, well, thanks for asking. If you're a card counter, then yes, you can see some extra cards if you're in the last seat. This would help a little bit in single deck, but for the most part, card counters just don't mess around with continuous shufflers. And if you're not a card counter, I probably would not confuse the issue by taking into consideration the other player's cards. I think that's going to be rope that is going to be out there to hang yourself with. So whether it's be a continuous shuffler or not, the seat position does not matter, again, unless you're card counting, and only if you're properly card counting. I see amateurs all the time making really terrible plays because they say, oh, well, I didn't hit because that other player had an 8 or something like that. No, just keep it simple unless you know what you're doing. And he also asked,
how's your bird?
Pickle is fine. He just shedded a nice long red feather. He's been very well behaved today. Yesterday he was kind of being rather obnoxious, but yes, he has a calm spirit about him today, fortunately.
Sounds good. So we got answers to your question, and the first answer comes from Wayne Rogers, and he says harp.
Wayne, very good. According to most biblical translations in English, it does say harp. A careful examination of the original Hebrew would indicate that he probably played something more like a lyre, but I was prepared to accept either harp or lyre. So very good job. Again, more points to you. And let's see what else we got here. We have flute, banjo, pan flute, lyre, drums, electric guitar. Yes, credit to anyone who said lyre, or the harp?
Or electric guitar, because that was just a really cool answer.
That gets some cool points, but no time out of purgatory points.
Oh, that should be at least like worth some purgatory points.
Maybe you can. Maybe it'll get you some points to buy an electric guitar in purgatory.
Hey, there you go. Okay.
I can't promise that. Just suggesting it.
That's a good one.
Okay.
Okay.
I think we get a good deal on one.
So what is our next question on?
Our next question is, after Noah got off of the ark, what sign did God give that he would never flood the earth again?
What sign? Okay, I don't know. So if you guys know the answer, put them in the chat and we'll look out for it. And while we are waiting, we have a question. Are offshore sports books reliable?
For the most part, they are.
Oh, okay.
It tends to be the big operations that take sports bets, and I hear very little complaints about the sports books. So as a generality, yes, they are reliable, and you can always go to Wizard of Odds to find which sites we recommend.
Awesome.
And by the way, if you do click through one of our banners, and let me channel the wizard here temporarily, because Father Michael does not promote internet gambling, but the wizard does, and he would say that yes, please click through our banners, and if you sign up through an account through an affiliate link from our site, if you ever have any problems, we'll be there for you and help you get through any dispute. And we would probably do that even if you didn't. But we always appreciate it if you show support for the site by clicking through our affiliate links.
Awesome.
Okay. Back to Father Michael.
Okay. We got answers. So it was from Michael S., and he says rainbow. Michael
S., another point to you, my son. Very good job. A rainbow. It was not a dove, but a rainbow.
Cool.
And to this day, rainbows are kind of a sign of that event, a remembrance.
So what does the double rainbow mean?
That is a double remembrance of God's pledge to never flood the earth again.
I'm going to be a stinker. What does a moon rainbow mean? I told you that's a stinker.
I do not know.
Do you have any more Bible questions? That was fun.
Yes, I do.
Good.
Here is number 11 of 15. What are the colors of the 4 horses of the apocalypse?
I actually know that answer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I can name the 4 horsemen and everything, because that's actually one of my favorite things about the Bible.
Okay, Heather.
Should I?
Give it to me, preferably in order.
You're going to, in order? Oh, you're going to put me on the spot. In order.
Okay, it doesn't have to be in order. You just get extra credit if they're in the right order.
Okay, cool. So you got war, which is red, famine, which is green, death, which is black, and disease.
There's no green horse, I'm afraid.
Oh.
So what 3 other colors did you say?
White, black, red.
And you're missing?
Yellow. If there's no green? No, I don't know what the 4th color is then.
The 4th color is pale.
I said white.
No, pale, not white, but pale, kind of like gray.
Okay.
White, red, black, and pale.
Isn't white and pale the same thing? That's like saying
not
pink.
According to the book of Revelation. They're different colors. However, Heather, I will give you 3/4 of a point.
Oh, cool. That's awesome.
I'll give you the full point because you knew what the, not just the horses, but the riders as well.
Okay, so
and to be honest, I can't guarantee you got that right. I know there was a war and a famine, but I don't remember the other 2. Let's see what other people said. Stanley correctly said rainbow. Some Cleveland boxcar said black, red, black, golden, and white. No, another person who didn't get the pale. Black, white, red, and blue. No. White, red, white, black, and blue. No, a lot of people got the red, white, and black, but no, that pale one, I guess, stumped a lot of people, including you, Heather. But partial credit to everyone who at least got some of the colors. And Heather, I think that I lost you again. I hope you audience members can hear me. So I am just going to jump into the next question, which is, how much was Judas paid to betray Jesus? And okay, pestilence, I forgot that one. And while I'm giving you guys some time, let's see what you have to ask me. Somebody asked, hey, Michael, what would you have as a good Baccarat strategy? It's funny you ask that. For a simple strategy, just bet the banker every time. But just about a week ago, I published a card counting strategy to Baccarat. And if you follow this strategy, which is really quite easy, especially to use in Baccarat where you can write things down, that'll bring the house advantage down about another 1/10%. So that'll bring it down to about 0.95%. And I know that's not a big reduction, but I'm all in favor of cutting the odds wherever you can. So look for my new Baccarat card counting strategy over at Wizard of Odds. Now, I'm glad you guys can hear me because I don't know what happened to Heather, but let's see. Michael S. does it again, 30 pieces of silver. 2 shillings, no. Tony Chen, also you get some credit, 30 pieces of silver. Tom H. Stanley Isaacson, very good, guys. Yes, he was paid 30 pieces of silver. Very good to all who got it. Let's go on to the next one. Question number 13. How many Vatican-approved Marian appearances have there been? And for extra credit, name where they took place. And I emphasize Vatican-approved. What I mean by that is the apparition was approved both at the Vatican level, as evidenced by having an entry in the liturgical calendar, as well as being accepted by the local bishop where it happened. So yes, I'm looking for the top 6 Marian apparitions. And while I give you guys some time for that, let's take some questions from the Wizard of Vegas. Let me bring that up here. That is on this screen here. Okay. Gilmer asks, were you impressed enough by Burger 51 to recommend tourists staying downtown or on the strip drive over to see it, or were you considered more of a locals thing? Yeah, downtown, maybe. It's not that far from downtown, maybe a 10-minute drive, but the strip, no. I'm sure it's mainly a locals thing. But for those who don't know what I'm talking about, there is this mini drive-in that opened up in Las Vegas where they sell great cheeseburgers and also soft drinks and candy and comic books. And then after you order, you park your car, and then they have basically a screen there. And it's not as big as a typical drive-in screen, but they have about 30 parking spaces. And you sit there and you watch these short, like 15-minute movies. And what are these movies about, you might ask? They are, I guess, like independent films that people can submit directly to Burger 51. And I can't say that these shorts are, probably the best cinema you've ever seen. But I think it's really fun. I had a great time when I went there. I met John, the owner. He was really cool. So I highly recommend it. And the cheeseburgers are just delicious. They have a real thick slice of sweet onion and a thick slice of tomato. So I like it. Wouldn't recommend going all the way from the strip. But yeah, there you have another plug for Burger 51. So let me go back to the stream here. And Heather, you're back.
Hey, I'm back. Sorry about that.
Okay. So while you were gone, I asked about the Marian apparitions. And somebody, Michael S. said 2, nope. Paul says 9, nope. Somebody mentions, I thought this was about betting. This is a rare and special Thursday where Father Michael is making an appearance, challenging you guys with Bible trivia. And this is not that out of the ordinary. We often do trivia on this show. But as you can see that in between, I am taking gambling questions. So you get 2 forms of entertainment for the price of 1.
Yep. And I love how your beard goes with the Father Mike outfit.
Thank you. Doesn't it make me look more godly?
So does that mean next week we get to see you in a wizard rose and do fantasy like trivia, like Tolkien trivia?
That's not a bad idea. I don't have a good wizard outfit, but
I know what I'm getting you for your birthday.
I see in the future the wizard in an actual wizard outfit.
That would be cool.
Okay. Let's see what we got here. Somebody's very late saying rainbow. Okay, I'm going to take another gambling question, give you guys a little bit more time. Heather, do you got a good gambling question for us? Or shall I do another from the forum?
No, I got one. It's from VA Lurker. I'm getting to know Pai Gow. Do you have any favorite tile sets that you own?
Yes, I own like 5 of them. You can buy used tile sets from the casinos at, it's not the Gambler's Warehouse, but what's the one behind it? Is that Spinetti's?
Spinetti's.
Yes, they sell used tile sets and quite reasonably priced, I think for like $5 or so. And I like to give those out as gifts. So yeah there you go. And you see them on eBay too, but you're going to get, I think Spinetti's directly sells them on eBay, but I'm not sure. But yeah, if you're ever in Vegas, go to Spinetti's. That is a really cool store. They have cards from all over Vegas and dice and gambling art and table and felts. And, you know, it's, to be honest, it's and a really good selection of antique casino chips. So it is very much like the Gambler's Warehouse, which is right next to it. The Gambler's Warehouse has a much better book selection, and they're more about like practical gambling equipment, where Spinetti's is more, I guess, for collectors. But if you ever go to one store, go to both. They're both really cool, but they're a little bit different. So, yeah. In fact, didn't one of them move recently?
It was the Gambler's General Store, and it moved right across the street. Okay,
yeah, there you go. And Spinetti's has moved back a little bit from the street. It's a little hard to find, but yeah, if you're ever in the area, definitely check it out.
Cool. Okay, so are we going to do another Bible trivia?
Okay, I think I'm going to have to just tell you guys about the Marian appearances. So as us Catholics believe, the Virgin Mary pops up from time to time to give comfort and show her that she loves the world. Like I said, from time to time in different places. And the 6 Vatican confirmed appearances were in, and let me make sure I have this right. There was one near Mexico City, and as she was referred to there, Our Lady of Guadalupe. We see images of her surrounded by roses all over the place here in Las Vegas. There was one near Paris. There was one in La Salette, France, another in Lourdes, France, one in Knock, Ireland, and one in Fatima, Portugal. So we have one in Portugal, one in Ireland, one in Mexico, and 3 in France.
Very cool.
And then there's other ones that are only locally recognized, not Vatican recognized, other ones that no decision was ever made on. So, yeah. So I only wanted to get into the top 6.
Have you ever been to the Vatican?
No. Would like to. I'd love a Vatican license plate. That is the hardest country in the world to get a license plate from.
You don't have one? I thought you had a license plate from everywhere.
No. I mean, it would be a major ordeal to get one from every country, but a lot of people do attempt that. And yeah, the Vatican City is without a doubt, the toughest one to get. And I had a friend, and this is a true story, another priest who went to the Vatican, and I please get me a Vatican license plate. And he did. He gave it the old college try, but nope. They keep a tight control of them over there.
Okay, well, good to
I
know.
have seen the Pope's plane when I was in Mexico City. His plane was parked there. That's about the closest I've been. Oh, and I also have actually seen Pope John Paul II when he visited Baltimore in, I think, 1995, and he did his motorcade through downtown Baltimore, and I brought a big old ladder so I could get a nice clear shot of him, and I have some pictures of him waving.
In the Pope Mobile?
Yep.
Oh my God, that's so cool. That Pope Mobile is funny. I like that.
Yes, maybe I will show one on Facebook sometime.
Father Mike, I have a sin I have to confess.
Yes, my child.
Okay, so you know the Pope Mobile?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it reminds me, and here's my sin, it reminds me of the stripper van they used to have on the Las Vegas Boulevard, where you would see, you know, inside, and you would have the stripper stripping.
Mm-hmm.
Am I going to hell?
No.
Oh, good.
There's not even a sin there.
Oh, good.
I mean, to be honest, the two vehicles look kind of the same. Is it was basically a truck with a enclosure in the back where people could sit or stand, you know, surrounded by glass. So the vehicles are actually quite similar, and they serve kind of a similar purpose. So I can actually see why you would make that comparison. And I would also add that the human body is a work of art and is not something to be embarrassed about.
Amen.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Let's go on to the next Bible question. We have 2 more to go. How long did the rain last during the great flood of Noah? And I think we lost Heather again. So I am going to switch pages here and ask another question from the forum.
I'm here. Yes.
Okay.
I don't know why it's doing that. I do apologize.
Okay.
Well, before we do a question, I have Cleveland boxcar that says, is that a sexy photo of Wonder Woman on your wall? Wonder Woman, one hot superhero lady.
Absolutely. Let me address that in a second. In fact, I'll address it now. So yes, there are 2 of them. If you see on the upper right side of your screen, I have 2 pictures, 2 paintings of Wonder Woman, my favorite superhero, and out of range. Well, I've done this before, but let me show you the one that Heather did.
Cool. Oh yeah, you can't see mine.
Heather did this herself. Isn't this great?
Thanks.
Thanks again, Heather.
Oh yeah, I love doing artwork for you. It's fun.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And there's another one. I have another one out of range.
I like how your walls are getting more decorated. The more, like every single time I see it, it's more decorated.
Yes, I love art. And here's another one. This one, of course, celebrating Linda Carter, the original television Wonder Woman.
That's cool.
So there you go. The Wizard is a big fan of Wonder Woman. I, as Father Michael, though, more appreciate the biblical heroes like King David. And okay, let's go back to how long did the rain last during the Great Flood? And I see the right answer all over the place here. Tony Chen, 40 days and 40 nights. Very good, my son. Stanley, correct. Ann, correct. V.A. Lurker, correct. Mo the cat, correct. Very good job, my children. Points to all of you.
Good job.
But extra points to Tony Chen for being the first. Yes, 40 days. And 40 days is often a number associated with things that lasted a long time in the Bible. Like that is how long that Jesus fasted for in the wilderness.
And I hate to say this, but I see someone who got it before Tony Chen.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. So
Tom H.
No, Michael S.
Oh my goodness, Michael S. gets another one.
Yep.
However, Tony Chen, you can still keep your credit because I gave it to you, and a priest never goes back on his word.
I like that.
Okay, final Bible question. What does the holiday of Pentecost celebrate?
Never heard that one before.
Pentecost is a very important event, especially for Protestants.
So is it something that's still recognized today, or is that something?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yes, it is definitely something on the church calendar. In fact, many church bulletins will say how many weeks it is until Pentecost. I, as Father Michael, think that Pentecost doesn't get enough credit. So I will talk more about that after I give the audience a chance to chime in. But meanwhile, let me get back to some Wizard of Vegas questions. Odious Gambit, and I see we're running low on time, so I'm going to try to answer some quickly. He asks about quantum computing. So what that means is, as everyone knows, modern day computers are basically based on bits, which can either be on or off, 0 or 1. And what quantum computing does is it's based on how shall I put it?
Quantum physics.
What I'm looking for is it's based on data that is more than just 0 or 1 or on or off. It's either on, off, or both. And what do you mean? How can it be both? But there is, and this is getting kind of beyond my limits, but in quantum physics, something can be both true and, shall we say, true or false, or on or off at the same time. And Schrodinger's cat gets into this. We're starting to kind of get into the stratosphere here in terms of my physics. So I'm sure one could talk all day about this, but that is about as far as I can take that. Hopefully, and there are actually quantum computers out there, I hear, that do this, but it's still in the very infancy. But hopefully we will be seeing more of that in the future. Odious Gambit asks about Boo Boo Beargate, and will this continue to be swept under the rug? I'm afraid that's going to be swept under the rug for another week. Gilles asks, who is your favorite mathematician from history? And I'm going to go with Leonhard Euler. Why, you might ask? He contributed so much to math, especially in the area of calculus and limits, and he just did absolutely brilliant stuff, and not just in math, by the way. I'm sure you recognize the name from Euler's equation. I mean, Euler's identity, which says that e to the power of pi I equals -1. One of my, I just find almost like proof of order in the universe in the beauty of that equation, something that brings the three most powerful numbers, maybe powerful is not the right word, but three of the most ever-present numbers in math, pi, e, and I, all in one equation. Again, e to the pi I, Euler's identity, equals -1. And that is all the Wizard of Vegas questions we have. Let's get back to the stream. And yes, so I asked about Pentecost. Let's see what the Peanut Gallery says.
So we have several different answers. Bill Wilson says 5 something. Paul Maylott says the resurrection of Jesus. Michael S. says baptism. V.A. Lurker says Holy Spirit. Mo the Cat is pointing out that it's after Passover, which is something, our last one. Wayne Rogers says the baptism of the Holy Spirit of the apostles.
Yes, the answer is V.A. Lurker was first with Holy Spirit. I would have preferred a little bit more elaboration. Who was the other one who? Yes,
Michael S. said baptism.
Baptism of the Holy Spirit of the apostles. Yes, that is a good description of the event. This happened after the resurrection, and shall we say, the Spirit of Jesus came down upon the apostles, and descended upon them, and they became, shall we say, overcome with the Holy Spirit, as evidenced by speaking in tongues. And you can read all about this in Acts chapter 2.
Sounds cool. We have a quick question. It's not really a wizard question, but it is a good question. Do you have a P.O. box address available for fan mail?
Yes. Let me get that for you.
Awesome. And while we are waiting, Domestic, I see your comment. Email me, because sometimes I do sell them. Okay,
so here is the address. Make it out to either Michael Shackelford or Casino 99. Don't say Wizard of Odds. And send it to 1930 Village Center Circle, number 3-115, Las Vegas, Nevada, 89134. Cool. That is the Wizards, shall we say, Dropbox.
Very cool.
Okay, wow. I see we're 1 minute over, but do we have any final good comments that should be recognized in the peanut gallery? I didn't get any confessions yet. Any there? Except yours, Heather.
I didn't see any confessions. However, we did get a lot of comments. We weren't able to get to all of the questions. In fact, I wasn't even able to read all of your comments. I tried the best I could. But we had a lot of people saying a lot of good stuff. So thank you guys very much for your participation.
Okay, I see someone asked, why were Adam and Eve embarrassed to be naked after eating the apple? The Bible doesn't say, but I would imagine it's the same reason you might be embarrassed to walk around Albertsons or Target bare naked. They were just embarrassed of their own bodies, which they shouldn't be. As I said before, the human body is a beautiful thing. And let me see else here.
I thought it was because they ate the apple.
Well, after they ate the apple, they fell from grace, and suddenly they were embarrassed. But but yeah, they basically broke that covenant with God, where they would be close to Him as long as they didn't eat the forbidden fruit. And by the way, the Bible doesn't say it was an apple; it just mentions it being the forbidden fruit. But the painters had to paint it somehow, so why not an apple? Okay. Yes. 49 days after Passover. Good point about Pentecost. And yeah, I think that will wrap it up. So thank you very much, Heather, for hosting this. Thank you very much, audience, for participating. May the Lord bless you and keep you. And stay out of trouble. Keep your gambling in moderation. And I will be out of town next week. So look forward to the Wizards' return in 2 weeks.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.